What is your American dream?
My American dream would be to continue working hard for what is my next career, my next dream. My next step would be to be on camera and work for a big sport television broadcasting company. That would be a dream of mine.
For me, the American dream is the freedom to define that goal for yourself and for your family, and the freedom to obtain that goal.
My American dream is to be a role model for both my kids and the world, to make culture a really big part of their life and my life, to be deeply rooted and involved in community has always been a big one for my family.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. Welcome, everybody. It is Tuesday, January 19th. We are coming to the finish line. Yo-Yo and Vanessa, the finish line. Yo-Yo and Vanessa, the finish. You know what the finish line is? It's in 18 hours from now. It's 6:06 p.m. I don't hear you. Eastern Standard Time. Perhaps we can get your volume going.
How about
now? I hear you. Very good.
Yeah.
Now I hear you. 6:06 Eastern Standard Time right now in 17 hours and 54 minutes. And I don't know how many seconds. 17 hours and 54 minutes. My alarm is going to go off at 12 noon. At 12 noon, that is when the pumpkin is no longer the president. 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. 12 noon. That is when Joe Biden. I have set my clock at 12 o'clock, and my clock goes bah, bah, bah. But this time, I rewound a little bit to some old-fashioned music from The Wizard of Oz. You ever see The Wizard of Oz?
Absolutely.
Yeah, love the Wizard of Oz.
You know at the end when it goes, ding dong, the witch is dead, the witch is dead, the witch is dead, ding dong, the wicked witch. That is what is going to play at 12 o'clock when Joe Biden becomes president.
Eastern Standard Time.
At Eastern Standard Time.
That's amazing.
All right, ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. I couldn't find ding dong, the pumpkin got smashed. I was looking for some pumpkin song.
That's the remix.
I couldn't.
I was about to say, you could have made a remix.
I could have, but I'm not that talented. So I just came up with the best I could come up with. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead.
Yes.
Yeah. At least that one's done. We don't have time to produce your new track.
Exactly. I said I'm not going to waste all day long trying to figure out what I'm going to play at 12 o'clock. You know, it was just a moment of joy and insanity at the same exact moment. You know.
Yes.
You know. Were you doing some construction today, Yo-Yo?
Huh?
You look like you're in a construction shirt today. Were you doing some construction?
No.
What?
This is
The white T-shirt.
This is
That is a beautiful melon peachy
Peachy?
shirt. I mean, it's a blush.
Right,
Yeah.
it's a blush. Yes.
Don't ever. Oh, Dr. Love.
Dr. Love, are you touching yourself on Bradshaw Live?
Sorry.
What was the guy? You know, I want you to know. You know, you can. Yeah, you gotta keep your hands where you can see them. You know.
I just feel so good lately. You know?
And I don't know. I'm colorblind and blind as it is. So to me, everything looks white.
This week I've been wearing peach, close to orange, getting the peach pumpkin, orange pumpkin,
Peach
whatever.
to
All
eat and peach.
out.
You know,
No.
I'm going to tell you something. And God should strike me down if I'm lying to you. I swear to God, it looked like you were just wearing like a white Hanes T-shirt to me. You know, and I can't. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't.
This is from Zara.
Oh, excusez-moi. Excusez-moi.
This is.
Sorry.
It's a nice.
I can't tell colors though. It's hard for me sometimes. I mix up colors.
Yeah, okay.
Stargirl Mika's watching Yo-Yo. Watch your hands.
Yeah,
She
that's
said, oh, Yo-Yo. Stargirl Mika's in the comments early.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yo-Yo
distracted me for a while there, dude.
That's all Brad's fault.
Stargirl's Mika, you know, ever seen those comedies where all of a sudden like smoke starts coming out of like the person's phone? You know, Stargirl, she had to like throw the phone. It was too hot for her.
Right.
And boss lady, how you doing over there? Wherever you may be.
All is well.
Right.
All is well. I'm just trying to figure out what our topic of conversation after tomorrow at noon is going to be. I look forward to our schmooze. I look forward to our schmoozing after tomorrow and see if it'll be as enticing.
Well, it's going to be more pleasant. I'm sure the pumpkin will be around, you know, poking us here and there. So I don't think he's going to go away so fast.
He's not, but
what?
It's definitely going to be real different. I mean, look, I started this show 3 years ago, so the pumpkin was already in office for about a year when I got in. So this is all I know.
You only know pumpkin.
Huh?
You only know Bradshaw Live with a pumpkin.
Right.
Right. Right. Me too.
Right.
That's why I'm like, well, let's see how this goes.
Well, you know what? We're all going to be in for a big surprise, but let's say hello to the squad right now.
Let's do it.
Jessica Levy, how are you? Squad up. Mel Caballero, squad up. It's Isla Enats. I call her as Isla Enats. How are you? Squad up. Violet Blackwood, Vitalis Asugwo, squad up. Jennifer Green. It's Apple Pie. We know she's all the way down from Jamaica, right? And Rich Kid C, squad up. Dion Reed, squad up. Carol the Tiger, squad up. Willie L. Williams with a hey. As usual, Dawn Harriet. And I said Violet Blackwood already. Christy Kinsali, Horace Jones, Cordella Douglas, squad up. Eileen Clark, Fahid Siddiqui, squad up. McLeod Jacque, just with a big yes. YES, exclamation point. Unruly Queen, squad up, how are you? And Goldfee, oh boy. Why don't we skip Goldfee's middle name, and we're just going to say Goldfee Finley, because the middle name, middle name's really, really hard. But I'm going to try. Naluk Pondam. Finley.
That sounded pretty good to me.
All right. I think that's not bad. Denisha Joseph with a nice, beautiful heart. Squad up, Denisha. And Stargirl Mika. I guess she got her phone working again. I thought it was a little too hot in her hands there for a second. And Mavo Tom and Joy Titus. Let's check out Boss Lady's YouTube. Isla Enats, double fisting. Vitalis Asugwu, squad up. Ja Love, squad up. Charlotte Muzu, squad up. Everbless Andres with the question. We'll get back to you in a little bit. Lido Ibrahim saying, hello, Brad Show team. Squad up. Jeremy Goldberg, how are you? Squad up. Paul Green says Jamaica is in the house.
Hello, I got a PSA. PSA.
Yes.
PSA.
PSA.
One, of course, it's Apple Pie's talking about, she's all the way from the motherland, Brad, gotta say what's up to Jamaica. But Jessica Leamy just told me, and I kind of was figuring this out too. I knew that it meant something. It's Na Look Pundum. Na Look Pundum. So it's like a sentence.
Break it down.
It's the actual middle name. It's like in Patois, I think.
Na Look Pundum.
Look, now look on them.
Now look upon them?
Possibly.
Now look upon them?
And a riddle on a Tuesday.
Yes, we need our Facebook to Patois translations, please, squad. If we can get a Facebook to Patois translation, That would be helpful.
We would appreciate
that.
y'all.
We would appreciate that. Yo-Yo and Vanessa,
Yes.
take it away.
Absolutely. All right, squad. Remember, please, we need you all to share because we're about to start schmoozing with Brad really soon. He's going to fill us in on the latest news, including President-elect Biden's plan for citizenship for those living out of status.
And you guys already know it is Tuesday Tea with Brad, so we will be dishing some celebrity news. You guys will have to stick around. You don't want to miss it.
And of course, you could always call Spar and Bernstein at the number that you see scrolling down at the bottom. Also at the same number that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson just came flying across the screen. Maybe he'll do it again. His body, my face. That's what we did. When we asked the graphic designer, he said, "What do you want Uncle Brad to look like?" I said, "I want him to look like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Just put my face on it." There he is. Ask me a question, 1-800-529-5465. It is the same telephone number to call our office as it is to get on our show. It is one-stop shop. Call the office, get on the show, same telephone number, 1-800-529-5465. And PSA, Yo-Yo.
Listen, you asked PSA. You asked the squad for something, and the squad came through. We have about 100 messages telling you exactly what "not look upon them" means. It means not looking on them. So you're not looking. You're not paying them no mind.
See, I was close, right?
I'm not looking at them. They don't faze me. I don't see it. I don't.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Like, I know what it's basically, I know what I'm all about, and I ain't listening to you. Basically, am I getting the translation right?
Basically.
Good name.
Yeah.
I like the name. It's a very good name. It's a very, very good name.
I like the name.
I like that name too. And by the way, and later on the last full day of Donald Trump, he is out of office now in 17 hours. We should have had a countdown on our show today. 17 hours, you know, like the clock, 17 hours and 43 minutes left of Donald Trump. But later on, as his last few hours in office, we are going to look back at my interview with Jordan Drydell Roberts and Julie Briskman, two strangers who came together to stand up to Donald Trump at the beginning of his administration several years ago. And of course, I have everything that anybody wants to know about Joe Biden's proposal for amnesty coming up in Schmoozing with Brad. So as we said yesterday, this is the first time in my recollection that I ever remember, and I believe I'm 100% certain when I say this, that no president ever came in to office on day one and is going to propose what Joe Biden is going to propose, an entire overhaul of our United States immigration laws. And it's going to start with a massive amnesty program. Now, take everything I am saying with a grain of salt because we don't know what will ultimately pass. And I'll explain that in a second. But as far as the amnesty that Biden and Kamala Harris are going to propose, if you have TPS or you have DACA, you are going to be immediately eligible to adjust your status as a TPS member from any country or as a DACA recipient. All you got to do is prove you have DACA or a TPS, obviously pass security checks, perhaps affidavits of support, perhaps some other requirements as well. I mean, we don't know the nitty gritty, but certainly members of those classes of people, DACA, TPS, will be eligible to adjust immediately. Anybody else who was physically present in the United States on New Year's Day, January 1st, 2021, and who was out of status on that day will also, presuming they never left the United States, will also be eligible to change their status from out of status to some sort of lawful status, not having a green card, but some form of lawful status, perhaps work permission, perhaps travel permission, but not necessarily having a green card for 5 years. At the end of that 5-year period, this is Biden and Kamala's proposal, at the end of that 5-year period, presuming you are a person of good moral character and you have not committed any offenses that would make you ineligible to obtain a green card or inadmissible to the United States, and presuming that you would be able to support yourself 125% above the poverty level, you would then be eligible to adjust your status from this form of temporary status to having a green card. Then you would have to wait 3 years, and assuming you continue to have good moral character, you permanently reside in the United States of America, you would then be eligible to file for your United States citizenship. Now, from assuming that this passes exactly as Biden is proposing it, and by the way, we're going to talk about that in a second, but assuming it passes exactly as Biden is proposing, people who are going to be eligible for this form of amnesty ultimately will not get their citizenship in their hand probably till at least 11 or 12 years from now, right, even though it is an 8-year process, because you have to have a process of going from nothing to temporary status. That will take some time to process. So even though you may file a paperwork this spring, assuming the law passes, it may not be till next spring before you get something in your hand. Then you got to wait 5 years. Then you got to file an adjustment of status. You got to wait a period of time for that to adjust your status. You would just become eligible to do it. Then you adjust your status. That may take a year or two. And then you have to wait 3 years to file for citizenship, and then file for citizenship, and that may take some time. So, I mean, ultimately, it's going to be some form of 10 to 12 year period from nothing to U.S. passport in your hand. The good news is that it is going to be a massive, massive amnesty program. I want to talk about 2 points, Yo-Yo and Vanessa. Mm-hmm. Okay, point number one is, what should I be doing right now if I am part, or believe I am going to be part of this amnesty program, which we don't know what it will be yet. Because the other point I want to make is, it's not going to be exactly what Biden says. It's going to change dramatically. But what we know now is you have to be physically present here, out of status, January 1st, 2021, which means that if you've now decided you're watching from Jamaica and you say, you know what, I'm going to swim for it, or I'm going to be a stowaway, it's going to be too late for you. You had to be here by January 1st, 2021. So you're going to miss it. Okay? But if you were physically here on January 1st, 2021, that's what Biden is saying. What do you need to do? What I would be doing right now is saving every document that I have. Throw nothing away. If you learn anything today and you want to take advantage of law changes, you will not buy a garbage can. You will not buy garbage bags. You are going to be a hoarder. You are going to hoard everything that you have. Every document that you have to prove that you were here. Bank statements, credit cards, photos, bills, library cards, medical bills, receipts from the gas station, receipts from the store, anything you have. Junk mail that comes to you. You get some junk mail. Here's some coupon booklet that gets mailed to you in the mail. It has your name on it with a stamp on it. You save it. Why? Because you have to document that you were here. And you have to continuously document that you were here all the way through the time that you get some sort of legal status. So save every document, throw nothing out, be a hoarder. Get big box and just keep throwing stuff in it. Save all your mail. Save all your documents. Everything that you have with your name, every piece of mail you have, anything with a date on it, any contract you signed, anything with any provable value or any evidence to show that you were here. Now, that's what I would be doing right now. The other thing I would be doing is saying to myself, now that I heard that if this amnesty does come through, it's going to be a very, very long time before everybody gets through. If you have an opportunity to get a green card now, take advantage of it. Don't say, I won't do it. I'll wait for Biden's amnesty. Take it, because it's going to be an extraordinarily long period of time between the time the bill passes, millions of people file, you get something, then wait 5 years, then file an adjustment, then wait for that adjustment to be approved, then wait another 3 years to become a citizen. It will be a lot faster if you're in love and I'm just telling you, you're in love, you live with a person, much faster to adjust your status to a marriage and get your citizenship in 3 years. That's for sure. Now, with all of that being said, Yo-Yo and Vanessa, none of what Joe Biden is proposing is ultimately going to be the law. Now, the last time there was an amnesty that was attempted to be passed, it was strictly just for the Dreamers. The DREAM Act passed the Senate when President Obama was president. It passed the Senate by about 68 to 32. Then it was supposed to go to the House of Representatives that never voted on it because it was Republican. Now the House of Representatives is Democrat. Except, so you would say, okay, that's great now. So now they're definitely, we know the Senate passed it in 2014, 68 to 32. We have Democrats in the House. We got a president in the United States, except the Senate is much different than it was in 2014. Almost all of the Republicans who were pro-immigration have left the Senate or died. John McCain, dead. Flake, left. All of them left as a result of Donald Trump, because Donald Trump took over the Republican Party and all the moderate Republicans, many of them left. So who do we have left in the United States Senate right now are more staunch conservative Republicans who, on their face, who knows how they'll ultimately vote or what they're going to want to vote for, but on their face will vote against any form of amnesty. Now, the Democrats, they basically win the vote 51 to 50. But that doesn't mean every Democrat in the Senate is going to want to pass immigration. Some Democrats come from very conservative states. Some Democrats are as conservative as some moderate Republicans. And there are some Republicans who come from states where there's a lot of immigration and they're pro-immigration. So there's going to be a lot of cross voting between Republicans and Democrats. And ultimately, because 1, 2, 3, 4 senators can make the difference of whether a bill passes or not, 1, 2, 3, or 4 senators, because it's 51 to 50. 1, 2, 3, or 4 senators could hold up the whole thing for what they want. So there's going to be a lot, especially in the Senate, there's going to be a lot of changes to what Biden is saying. Perhaps they won't say January 1st, 2021. Perhaps they'll say January 1st, 1999. I have no idea. I don't know what they're going to do. Okay, all I know is that as somebody who has watched immigration laws being proposed and then changed or die in Congress. The proposal, and then those that actually pass, the proposal is never passed. It's changed a lot. But again, I believe something is going to happen. It's going to be extraordinarily positive. Save your documents, because that is the only way you can prove that you were here. It's not going to be done based on, oh, I was here. Trust me, here's an affidavit from my friend. They're not going to buy it. Save everything, throw nothing out. That's everything I got on Amnesty at the moment.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were asking about it too, so
Right.
that's good that you went in detail with that.
Meanwhile, inaugurations tomorrow. The Capitol is going to be closed off. The National Mall is closed. They put up flags in the National Mall instead of people. There's more than the only people who are going to be there are the politicians, Joe Biden, and 25 National Guards troops. Pretty sad.
Yeah.
Sad inauguration for America that we have to lock up Washington, D.C. Combination of what happened on January 6th and, of course, COVID.
I know Trump is happy about that.
Yeah.
I was just going to make a comment on that. I was like, it's almost as if it was done so Biden couldn't even have a good inauguration.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, think about it. If Trump called the people to go and storm the Capitol, he knows that, it's so close to the inauguration. He knows that they're going to have to close everything. It's not going to be a real celebration. He's petty like that. Petty boots.
Well, you know what? If I'm Joe Biden, I wouldn't care about the celebration. I'd care about what my legacy is going to be. And his legacy is not going to be, did I have a good inauguration? His legacy is going to be immigration, gun control, environmental control. As a matter of fact, Trump tried to unwind all of the environmental regulations that Obama put in. The Court of Appeals today, right before we got on air, overturned the Trump regulations, which means that Biden can now move forward on environmental reform, not from where Trump changed it, but from where Obama left off. Mm-hmm. So that's very positive news for people who are concerned about the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the temperature in which we live in our cities.
I mean, I understand what you're saying with that, but I look at it as, just like when I graduated from Howard, something happened to where I couldn't, they wouldn't let me walk because I still had to pay something. So I was like, well, I want to celebrate this with my people. I want to celebrate it with my friends, my family. So I still think that, I don't know. It still would affect me, especially Kamala. At least Biden has been to an inauguration where a lot of people came to celebrate. Kamala hasn't, So I think that it takes away from their happiness, their chance to celebrate with their people.
Moment.
So, especially her going to Howard University. I think she's going to use the band, Howard's band to walk them down. But, it's like she went to school there. I think she would have loved to see the DC-tonians there bring her into office. I don't know. Maybe that's just me because I like to celebrate with my people.
Well, let's talk about his inauguration for a second. Okay. It's going to definitely look different. It's definitely going to look different than the other inaugurations we've seen in the past. But, the DNC had a great, convention, and it was all virtual. Okay, so there's going to be no formalities involving the outgoing president, but he's going to have Lady Gaga perform, Jennifer Lopez perform, Kerry Washington is going to perform. Other performers include, or participating include Tom Hanks. He's not going to sing, but maybe he'll give a speech. The Foo Fighters, Bruce Springsteen, John Legend, Demi Lovato, Justin Timberlake, Lin-Manuel Miranda. So there's going to be a lot of celebration, but it's going to be virtual, not in person. Does that make a difference to you?
No.
No.
I mean, this is kind of part of what we're doing right now. 2021, we're in the midst of a pandemic. Did I freeze?
You did not freeze.
Yeah, you did freeze.
You are frozen, but I hear your voice. That's
Yeah, I
all
do
that
hear your
matters.
voice.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Yes. So, I'm more concerned about what he's going to do than whether he has a party or not, personally. But that's just me. But you know what? You know what time it is right now?
What time is it?
It's tea time.
Tea time.
It is tea time with Brad. Let's talk a little tea.
Yes, spill the tea, Brad.
Yes, I have some
Say
tea
what
over
we working
here.
with today.
The tea is herbal tea, which is different. I think I had mint last week, right? What did I have
Yeah,
last
you
week?
did.
So I have some herbal tea. Did you guys get any tea for today, or is it just me? I'm drinking by myself again.
It's just you, because you dishing out the tea.
But you don't have any tea. One second, Julian. We're not done yet. I got to make my tea still. Everybody will have to wait. You will never drink the tea until it's ready.
Is it pipe hot tea?
It is piping hot tea.
That's how. That's the
All
only
right,
way.
and I have some nice herbal tea. It's nothing
good?
like, I want you to know something. There is nothing like a nice glass of tea to relax and sit back and just shoot the breeze.
Yeah. There you go.
Look how calm I am now.
Yeah.
Tea calms me down, just shoot
All
the
it
breeze.
takes one sip.
Just shoot the breeze.
I love it.
Meanwhile, what do you think of this Melania? She's leaving. This Melania. That's what I'm calling her now. This Melania.
This Melania.
This Melania. That's what I'm
But
calling her now.
we knew exactly what you were referring to. We
Yeah.
were like, tell us about the Melania.
Yeah, let me tell you about this Melania. She's leaving the White House as the least popular first lady in the history of the United States.
What?
How does one vote for the most popular? Like, how does this go? What
I
are the qualifications?
I don't know. There's a vote. I don't think there's a vote, but there's a poll. So
There's a poll.
There's a poll, and she's leaving as the least popular, and she's doing something extraordinarily rude that anybody who would really know how to be a lady would never do. She has, for the first time, the first lady ever, and this has gone back all the way to former President Harry Truman in 1945. Bess Truman, his wife, would always have the future first lady over for some tea.
Oh, really?
Give her a tour of the White House because she is the first lady and she is the woman who will be let me show you this house. Let me show you how everything works, where everything works. You're coming to live in this home, this huge home you've never lived in before. She has refused to meet with Joe Biden. So this is the first refused. So now it's a ritual. There's no requirement under the law for Melania to give Jill a tour and show her how everything works at the White House. But this has been being done since 1945. That the first lady would invite the new first lady in, the old first lady the outgoing first lady would invite the incoming new first lady. It's just common courtesy. It's called having just having some class, okay, and saying, you know what, I've lived here for several years. Let me introduce you to the staff, because the staff stays at the White House, the guy who's the cook. Let me show you how everything works, what you do, what buttons work, and it's just a nice formality. And it also shows, to the world, the transition from one president to the next, that we are a true democracy, that we accept
Michelle Obama, physically, and they still had them come in. I know for a fact they can't stand them, and they still had them come in.
And
that's history.
And Trump's not even going to the inauguration. And dating back to the 1940s, the outgoing president would greet the incoming president on the lawn of the White House, shake his hands, and welcome to the White House.
The same way Obama did for them.
As a way of transitioning power, but Trump is just leaving.
I'm actually surprised about this because I knew about Trump. I knew Trump wouldn't have the class, but Melania, I actually kind of liked her. Not saying as a first lady, but like I felt for her, you know, because I also felt like she didn't even know that she was getting herself into. She just thought that she was, you know, coming up with getting with Trump. I don't think she knew she was going to ever be the first lady. So I always kind of had that, you know, had her back with that. But like this right here kind of surprised me. I was really hoping that she would have been like, listen, I don't care what my husband is going to do. I'm going to still be classy and, you know, invite Jill Biden in and show her around like, you know, history says you should do. I'm actually surprised and I'm disgusted.
Yeah, but when you're married to like petty Pablo, like a Trump, can you imagine the conversations in the evening, like where she's like, yeah, I might be considering doing this, and then your husband Trump is like, think again. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Do you think?
I don't know.
I'm just thinking of like, you know, like you're a tenant in a building, and you're just like, you want to just, you know, like they're gonna like stuff the toilet or like leave dirty stuff around. You know, like sometimes like tenants who are angry that they have to leave. You know, try to screw the landlord. You know, like I'm thinking like they're gonna be like do things like that.
Oh, I definitely think that they about to leave that White House atrocious.
That's
like
right.
They don't have no deposit that they need to get back.
That's right.
So they're probably gonna put all kinds of bad juju. I would have sage. I would have a priest. All kinds of stuff coming up in there the first day after they leave.
And by the way, unfortunately, we're off of Facebook. But we are still on YouTube, so hopefully our social media team can tell everyone on Facebook to come over to YouTube and watch on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Don't know what happened on Facebook, but the other thing I was going to say
thinking about.
Yeah, they have 5 hours from the time that Trump is leaving the White House to get everything fixed up for Biden. How are they going to fix everything up in 5 hours?
How many people do you think are on staff for that? They
don't know.
They have a lot of people on staff.
I don't know. But they got
hundreds. I agree.
They got to turn around an entire home in 5 hours. I think that's pretty crazy.
That
is
nuts.
I think we're back on.
We're back on Facebook now.
Let's
see.
Jessica Leamy just sent me something.
Let's see. Hopefully we are. Let's check it out.
We are back on.
Yep, we are back on. Hello, Facebook. All right, so we're back on Facebook now. Don't know what happened, but we're back. And by the way, moving on for Tea Time with Brad. Mm-hmm. Did you see that Elon Musk is now the richest man in the world?
Yeah.
He has edged past Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. I don't get Tesla. Do you see Teslas all over the place?
No.
I see them more now.
I think it's more so
this is the biggest car company in the world?
I think it's investments and stuff as well.
I don't think it's Tesla. And
that's the only way he's making his money?
That's how he became the richest man in the world, from Tesla, because the Tesla stock has gone through the roof, like 1,000.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say.
Right, the stock has gone through the roof. But I don't get, not that I'm a stock analyst, I don't get how Tesla stock went through the roof, because I don't see Teslas all over the place. Apparently, they're making batteries they have contracts to make batteries for a lot of different companies, electric cars, and people think that they're going to have like the, corner of the market on electric car batteries, but still, to be the richest man in the world from electric car batteries?
I mean, a lot of people have been getting electric cars. They have electric car stations at all my friends' apartments in the garages. They have like electric
in the garages.
stations.
I don't know. Amazon. I see Amazon packages every day. I could get Jeff Bezos being the richest man. Bill Gates, by the way, he is the third richest. He's only at 132 billion. Elon Musk is at 191 billion dollars.
191
they're
billion?
becoming a thing. It's gonna be like, when you never see a red car and then you buy a red car and then you see a red car everywhere. That's almost how I feel about Tesla. I'm seeing them more.
I'm more in shock at $191 billion.
How do you have $192 billion?
191. Let's not make him richer than he is. $191 billion. Not a billion.
Child.
Not 5 billion. Not 10 billion.
It's wild. 192 billion. That's like, it's way too much money.
Yo-Yo, listen, I'm very happy doing what I'm doing. But Elon Musk is 3 years younger than me. And I say to myself, damn, 3 years young. He's even younger than me. And he's worth 191 billion.
He's going to live forever. He has enough money to do something to where he can live forever.
I don't know. All right, last one.
It's wild.
You know who Olivia Wilde is? She's dating now Harry Styles. Older woman, younger man.
Cougar.
Yeah, she's 36. Harry Styles is 26. And they were holding hands at a wedding in California. So I guess they are now Instagram worthy. And the pair have been filming a psychological thriller, Don't Worry, Darling. So what do you think? Age difference taboo, older woman, younger man. Vanessa, is that you go for that?
Love is love. I don't know about younger.
Would you go with a younger
36,
man?
though. That's not big time cougar. No, I wouldn't be with someone younger.
Well, when you're 26, you're still a child. You know what I mean? In your mid 20s, there's a lot of them that are still in college.
But I think that's a double standard, because there's men who are 36 years old who are dating 26-year-old women, and why is that not as big a deal?
It's not that big of a deal because society, not saying that it's right, but, usually you'll have the man that is, the breadwinner, the one that goes out and makes the money. And then the wife that, not saying that it's right, but you guys asked me a question. This is why we all think that it's different. This is why we all are like side-eyeing it, is because you're used to seeing the man older.
Why can't an older woman date a younger man? 10 years old.
She can. Olivia Wilde.
But she's Olivia Wilde, so she can get away with it.
I don't think anybody is saying that they can't.
But you don't see that as much. In other words, if Harry Styles was 36 and Olivia Wilde was 26, this wouldn't even be a discussion in Tea Time for Brad.
Listen. I think it's more so, and then like I said, this is no shade to any older women that do date younger men, because I had an older girlfriend before. So that's not what I'm saying.
How much older?
How
much older?
Huh?
How much older?
I was like 18 and she was like 24. It wasn't that much. But I was still in high school. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, we also have grown up, or this kid has kind of grown up, in our eyes. Like, we've seen Harry Styles since he was younger, you know what I mean? So it's like, we see someone that we remember as a child, and now we see him with an older lady. I think that's why it's newsworthy. I don't think it's because 36 years old, she's mad young. She's still young.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just the woman-man thing more than anything, and I think it's a societal thing. I've dated women. I've been in a serious relationship with a woman who was 14 years younger than me. And in some respects, she was more mature than I was.
Right. Then there's that part too.
Yeah, I mean, not that I'm not a mature man, but you only see me here. I mean, in real life, I'm like, ugh.
I'm Uncle Brad here, but I'm just Brad out there.
I'm just Brad out there, right?
Yeah, it's definitely the gender thing. For sure, it's the gender thing, because it's like we're saying, like, if the roles were reversed, it wouldn't matter. But I truly believe that we're in a new era where love is really love, and unfortunately those are all societal points, point of views that we've always seen it.
Well, let me just say what the squad is. Denisha Joseph says old man darling. I'm not sure what she means by that. Maybe she likes older men. But Linda Shaw has a fiance who is much younger than her, and she says they are perfect together.
But then you see how she also said that he acts
he
older.
acts older.
Right. Okay. So it has a lot to do. It has a lot
thing.
to do about maturity as well.
Yeah.
You know, but I can tell you
that's still saying, like, it's like, oh, he's younger, but he acts older. It's still saying that, like, oh, most ladies like to date an older man. You know, so that's what I think.
Now I'll tell you, just from an immigration standpoint, when we bring clients into immigration with an older woman, younger man, they are much more suspicious than older man, younger woman. Much more suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? My tea is a little cold now, so we have to end. We have to end it, and we have to move on. As much as I would love to have this conversation with you guys.
I know, this was fun.
Yeah. All right. We're going to be taking your calls in 1 minute and 23 seconds. But right now, in today's Spar Education, I explain how someone is compensated if they are injured while working on a construction site in New York. Let's watch.
As a worker in New York, if you get injured, your medical bills get paid through workers' compensation, and you have strict liability to sue for your pain and suffering the owner of the property. If you have workers' compensation, you can't sue your employer, but if you don't have workers' compensation, you can sue your employer. In New York, it's all subcontractors that are working on building. Somebody gets hurt, whoever the employee, let's say, God forbid, I'm the employee, I get hurt, I fall from a height, I break my legs, I can't sue the subcontractor who hired me to go work on the building. Ultimately, it's the property owner who has the insurance and is liable for everything. You don't work for the property owner, you work for the subcontractor who comes in. So you get workers' comp through the subcontractor, and then one of my attorneys sues the property owner, who has an enormous insurance coverage for $20-30 million per incident for injuries and loss of life. Even though New York has rules that make the employer liable without proving negligence, they still don't care because they got the insurance, they build it into the price of the apartments or whatever they're selling, and it is what it is.
All right, let's do something we like to call, you got a question, I'm going to give you my best answer. All right, Brandon in Denver, Colorado. Brandon.
Hey, how you doing, Brett?
How are you?
I'm well, how are you?
Good, what's going on?
Hi, so in 2010, I was admitted on a U visa, and then I adjusted status to a legal permanent resident in 2015.
Right.
And then I committed a theft crime in 2019. And I did have to hire an immigration attorney at that time with a criminal defense attorney. And I ended up pleading guilty to it. Well, I ended up entering a diversion program.
Okay.
Where I plead guilty to the charges and
no sentence.
I get a 2-year deferred sentence.
Right.
And I just had a question about if it's a crime of moral turpitude or a aggravated felony.
It sounds like it's neither. When you get put into a diversion program, generally what happens, it's the opposite of what you just told me. A diversion program means you get sentenced to something, which is community service, a probation, whatever it is, but they never adjudicate guilt. So as long as they never adjudicate, that's what the diversion programs are in almost every, I've never seen a state that doesn't have it that way. So when you get put into a diversion program, they say, we're going to give you a sentence, which is community service, probation, pay a fine, whatever it is. Stay out of trouble for 2 years or a year or whatever it is. Come back. We're gonna drop the charges. But there was never a day that you went into court and you were found guilty or you had to plead guilty.
Yeah, I actually have to plead guilty for this.
Okay, well then I would need to look at your disposition, because the definition of a crime, all right, because then maybe it's not a diversion program, but let's figure it out, okay? Because the definition of a crime, for the immigration, under the Immigration Nationality Act, is you were found guilty or you pled guilty and a sentence was imposed. So if
Yeah.
So if you were found guilty and a sentence was imposed, then that's a crime. So if you have one of the two, then it's not. As I said, usually you get a sentence but not found guilty. You're telling me you were found guilty but you didn't get a sentence. I don't know what state this happened. What state was this?
This is in Colorado. So basically,
Okay, so I'm not an expert on Colorado Penal Code.
Okay.
But what I would suggest we do is have a consultation. But to answer your second question, assuming it's diversion program, I'm almost certain, unless there's something strange in the Colorado law, I'm almost certain that it is not a crime for immigration purposes. Let's be 100% certain. I want to look at that disposition. But in terms of the law for theft offenses, I'm going to tell you what the law is anyway for immigration. Okay, for theft offenses. When you are found guilty of a theft offense and you are sentenced to you have some sort of sentence to a punishment, all right, some punishment given, fine, jail, whatever it is, restitution. Now you've committed a crime, and now as an immigration lawyer, we have to figure out, is it a crime of moral turpitude or is it an aggravated felony?
Correct.
It is a crime of moral turpitude if the sentence, it doesn't matter how much time you actually served in jail, but if the sentence that you were given was less than a year. So, for example, if the judge says probation for 5 years, well, you didn't go to jail. It's a crime of moral turpitude. If the judge says you're sentenced to 364 days in jail, and that's all you served, and that's what you served, it's a crime of moral turpitude. If the judge says 1 year in jail, it's an aggravated felony. If the judge says 1 year in jail, but I'm giving you time served after a month, so we're going to suspend the other 11 months, still an aggravated felony because you were sentenced to 1 year. It doesn't matter how much time the judge gave you to not actually serve. Mm-hmm. That's the theft laws for aggravated felonies and crimes of moral turpitude. Now, sometimes a theft offense can be considered a fraud offense. Sometimes it's theft by fraud. So if it is a theft offense by fraud, there's different rules. And
no, this wasn't a fraud.
Okay, well, let me just tell for everybody else so I can go through my rest of my spiel. So if it's theft by fraud, then if it was determined factually in a court of law that the fraud was in excess of $10,000, then it's an aggravated felony. If the fraud was less than $10,000, it's not. So when an immigration lawyer looks at theft offenses, we're looking at time served, sentence imposed, was it a fraud, how much was lost.
Okay.
I don't know I've given you all my knowledge. I don't know Colorado Penal Code off the top of my head. I can tell you generally, a diversion statute means it's not a crime. Let me double check. All right, hold on. Let's go to John in Houston, Texas. John.
Yeah. Hi, Mr. Brad.
Hi, how are you?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I came into the United States in 2016 as a single, never married, and then after a few months, I met my high school mate. So we got married. We lived together for 3 months, and then she kicked me out. And then she went ahead and went to court to file an annulment for the marriage based on marriage fraud. And by the time I realized that, I went to counter it, and then we went into a trial. In the trial, the judge would not even allow me to say anything. The only thing he asked me was my status, and I was already out of status.
Did your wife ever file for you?
She never filed for me.
Okay. So then don't worry about it.
But my fear is the Section 204C.
Okay, so let me shed some light on your fear that you shouldn't have any.
Okay.
You could only commit marriage fraud with the Immigration Service if you file papers with the Immigration Service.
Okay.
You can't commit marriage fraud if she never filed for you.
Yeah, but the judge annulled the marriage.
The judge
based on
annulled the
marriage
marriage,
fraud.
saying that the marriage was fraudulent in some way.
Yeah.
So what? You never filed
He
any
said-
papers with immigration.
Yeah, so in the annulment papers, it says marriage fraud to enable the respondent to enter the United States.
Well, that's what the judge determined, but you never went there to defend yourself. It's what your wife said, right?
I was there, but he wouldn't allow me to talk, and he just annulled the marriage, and that's the end of the marriage. And now my fear is I've married somebody else now. I'm afraid I want to adjust my status. Now
Well, yeah,
I'm in a state of
that
fear.
obviously could, be an issue if you entered into a marriage to evade immigration laws, and a judge discovered this, but you never filed any papers with immigration.
I never filed anything.
So there was no marriage fraud, period. And I would like to take a look at that. At that decision, but my opinion is, and I think my opinion is pretty good, is you never filed any papers with immigration. There was no marriage fraud. You didn't try to defraud the U.S. government.
Okay, so how can I book a?
Hold on one second. Karen in Lakewood, Florida. Karen.
Hello.
Hi, Karen. How are you?
Hi. Good evening.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
I do.
Yes. I have a question.
Yes.
So I was in a relationship. Well, I'm in a relationship, and the gentleman, he came up. I'm a LPR since 2017. So he's here now, and we decided to get married. He came up in August 26th, and we got married on the 26th of December. Now, I want him to stay here with me to help take care of me. So, what's the procedure, the general procedure?
You are a resident or a citizen, you said?
I'm a LPR since 2017.
And he came up in August. You got married in December. He came up on a visitor's visa, and I assume so that'd be September, October, November, December, January. By February, he's going to overstay his time, sometime in February.
Yes.
Right? So you have approximately 3 weeks to file an adjustment application. You have to.
You're breaking up. I'm sorry.
You have to file an adjustment application for him right now in the next 2 to 3 weeks. As long as you file, if you're married to a resident and you are in legal status in the United States of America, priority dates are current at the moment, you can file an adjustment. The day he overstays his time, you can't file an adjustment married to a resident anymore. So you have approximately 2 weeks to deal with an adjustment, get it filed. If you get it filed, he'll get his work permit, his travel, and his green card here, and he'll get to live with you for the rest of your life. So hold on, but you really have like 2 weeks or so. So hold on. All right? Let's go to Dennis in Dallas. Dennis.
Hello, Brad. How are you doing today? I'm doing all right. I got a quick question for you, please. I told my I-751, and I tracked it, and I found out that they received it at a lockbox on November the 1st, 2020.
Right.
But up until this moment, I haven't gotten a notice of what do you call it?
An extension.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, you and thousands and thousands of other people, because I've been hearing that every day. I filed the I-751. I haven't heard anything. I think it's budget cuts, Donald Trump, COVID, overthrow of the U.S. government on January 6th. A whole combination of reasons why you haven't gotten your extension. Check to make sure your filing fee check was cashed.
It wasn't cashed.
I would be worried after 12 weeks, 3 months, if you still nothing was cashed.
I checked today. It hasn't been cashed.
Okay. Do you know if it was delivered?
It was delivered. I tracked it. I sent it in with FedEx.
Wait another week or two and see what happens. Okay. And if you still, nothing happens, but you have proof that it was filed, go down to the local immigration office and see what they have to say.
All right.
All right?
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Vanessa in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Vanessa.
Hi, good evening, Brad.
Good evening.
How are you? I'm good, thank you. I have a question. I have a current application that was approved. The I-130 was approved for F41 status, and it's currently with the NVC, a priority date of 4/15/2015.
Right.
I'd like to know, how can I go about changing that from a F41 to a F1?
Well, F4 is brother-sister.
Correct. So I filed for my sister in 2015.
Right, you can't change it. F1 is
A parent.
Is a parent. So in other words,
Correct.
F1 would be your mother or father filed for your brother and sister. They would have to start a new case.
So you'd have to start all over again.
Right.
Okay, so I guess we have no choice but to wait whatever this timeline is going to be.
Well, I would have mom and dad file anyway, and whichever one comes in first. Why not?
Okay.
And I would do it now before the laws change, because after the laws change, who knows who's going to be eligible to file for who.
All right, great.
So
Thank you
by
very
all
much.
means, it's a $535. Throw in the application, have two going, have a race, whichever comes in first. All right?
I like that one.
All
Thank
right.
you very
Take
much.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Stacy in Washington.
Good evening, Brad.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. What's going
I
on?
recently relocated, and I wanted to know, will they put my case to like the back of the line because I relocated?
Sadly, yes.
So it will take 18 months.
I don't know.
So,
Where'd you relocate from?
From D.C. to Virginia.
Well, it depends if it's a different immigration office jurisdiction. If it's not a different jurisdiction, then you'll be fine. If it's a different jurisdiction, whatever that timeline is in that particular jurisdiction, sadly.
All right, thank you.
Sorry.
Okay.
Joy in Newark. Joy.
Hey, Brad.
Hi, Joy. How are you?
I'm good. So, my question is, I filed for an application for asylum, and so right now I'm in removal proceedings. I have my employment authorization and Social Security, but I left a minor daughter at home, and now she's 6, and I want her to come visit me. So, is there any law that states that people with just employment authorization cannot send an invitation for their daughter to come over for a visit?
You filed for asylum? How do you have your work?
Yes.
Yeah, and there's no law that says, I mean, your daughter could always try to get a visitor's visa, but I doubt they're going to give her a visitor's visa when the mom filed for asylum. So,
But it's not going to affect my application in any way, right?
No, but your daughter will most likely be turned down. What I would suggest is this. How long has your asylum been pending?
1 year and some months.
All right. So what I would suggest is maybe let's take a look at your asylum case. If it is a very strong asylum case, perhaps you want to do a mandamus, force them to make a decision on your case, get approved, and then get your daughter here. Because other than that, who knows how long you'll wait. If it's not a strong case, then we got to figure out other ways.
Okay, so is it possible to kind of refer me to your secretary or something to book an appointment?
Yep, hold on.
Thank you.
Maddie in Chicago.
Hi, Brad. How are you doing today?
Good.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it, sir.
My pleasure.
So I'm on a four-year mark of my green card, approaching naturalization soon. I got my green card through previous marriage, and I'm remarried after the divorce. And my wife, the new wife, I'm planning to get her. I'm aware that I cannot do it at this moment because I need to pass my 5th anniversary of my green card. That's what I learned from you from this show.
Right.
So what the question is, can I file at this moment like a visitor's visa?
You wouldn't file anything. Your wife can try to get a visitor's visa by all means. She would have to show that she's coming to visit and she has a reason to return home.
So what if I say?
It's not you saying anything. It's her saying.
Okay, so if I'm the sponsor, for example?
It doesn't, no. In other words, if they believe she's coming to live with her husband, they're never going to give her a
Mhm.
visitor's visa. The
Okay.
only way she's going to get a visitor's visa is if she is coming to visit and going to leave. So what reasons does she have to leave the United States? She has a really good reason to stay. She's in love with a man who's a resident, who just got his green card through some other marriage. What
Mhm.
is her good reason, that magnet? Think of like a magnet. What is that magnet that we can say there's a magnet back in whatever country she
Like
lives
it's
in,
starting or something, yeah.
that she's going to go back? Is she leaving children behind, home, a really good job, something like that? But just randomly going in and just saying I want to get a visitor's visa to visit my lawful permanent resident husband who can't even file for me yet because he hasn't reached the 5 years. I'm sadly going to tell you they're going to turn her down.
Okay. All right. And one more thing I want to add on this part. She was my new wife has also been married to a U.S. citizen before. She withdraw the case at NVC. Why she did was he was medically I'm not fit. I don't want to tell everything on the show.
Well, that's fine. But by the way, that's another X against her, or a mark against her, or a red flag against her, because she's already shown an intention to want to immigrate to America.
No, I mean, she withdrawn the case.
I understand that, but by actually filing, it shows an intent to immigrate. Just saying, the whole thing is not a good.
So the best thing is to reach the naturalization and do it. That's what you think.
That would be yes, but perhaps she qualifies for some other visa that doesn't have a non-immigrant intent, which would be an H-1B. Or an L or an O, I don't know.
Let's say, for example, if I do my naturalization and then do it, that will be the right way, right?
Correct. You can file for your wife the day you become a citizen, or the day you've had been a resident for at least 5 years. Either way.
Okay. Okay. So, all right. So I need to cross the 5th anniversary. That's what you're saying. All right. I got it. I got it.
Okay.
Last question, if you don't mind.
Last, because that was the last one was the last, but we'll give you one more.
All right, thank you, sir. Do you need to have a good credit history for naturalization?
No.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Brad.
You're welcome.
Yeah, have a good day. Bye.
Melissa in Hackensack, New Jersey. Melissa.
Good afternoon, Brad. My name is Melissa. Yeah, I'm good. I have a question and I want to ask you. My brother is filing for my niece, and they request that they should get a DNA testing or to provide some documents because his name was had to their birth certificate like 16 years after the birth.
Yeah, they basically, if you are a man filing for your child, and you as a man were never married to the mother, they make you jump through 5 additional hoops versus if a married man were to file for his child. So because the father's name was not added to the child's birth certificate at the time of birth, they talk about, you'll see in the RFE that they say they want evidence that is contemporaneous with the events that you are trying. They say something to the effect, we want evidence that is contemporaneous with the events that you're trying to prove, which is basically saying we want proof that when this child was born, this father admitted he was the father, which is his name was put on the birth certificate or some other additional evidence. Now you have to prove not only that he is the biological father, but that he's had a relationship with that child between birth and 18 years old or whatever, how old that child is at this point. So.
Yeah, but.
Okay, what's your
the thing that is bothering us now is that the child, my brother, been migrated from he was in his teens because he got the child when he was in his teens. He migrated at then. He only visited Jamaica once because the child was taken by child scare in Jamaica because the mother wasn't able to take care of the child. So the child reached of age now and is out of the government agency.
Let me finish my answer because I was about to answer that. Okay. So not only do you have to prove that you're the biological father and you put your name on at the birth, or perhaps take a blood test, you have to show a parent-child relationship between birth and 18. Your brother-in-law migrated to America as a teenager never really had a relationship, it sounds like, with this child ever. Didn't send money to support this child because the Jamaican...
Yes, he did send, now he sent money now.
What you have to show that you sent money between birth and 18. And what you're telling me is that the Jamaican, child agency took this child under its care because nobody was caring for this child. The father wasn't caring for this child. The mother abandoned this child. For all intents and purposes, the father abandoned the child too, unless I don't understand the story properly.
No, what happened was the child, because my mother had the child, but the mother...
Did the father ever visit the child? Did the father ever have pictures with the child? Was the father's name on the child's student records as the person to contact if the child gets hurt or injured, or to even send the grades to? Do we have proof that the father sent money? The father abandoned the child. The father abandoned the child. There's no evidence that this father had any relationship with this child other than every so often the father would fly home and say hi, or every so often maybe you would send money, but we have no evidence of it.
Okay, so is it a problem that he would be able
in
to...
those situations? It's not. The law says absentee fathers can't file for their children. Got to show a relationship. Now maybe you can. I don't know, but what you're telling me is something different. All right, so hold on. Let's go to Alana in Phoenix, Arizona. Alana.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I was married. I'm great. I was married to a U.S. citizen, but because of domestic violence, I had to flee with my son. He had filed for
You had to what with your
to
son?
flee with my son.
Flee, okay.
He had initially filed for me and my son,
Right.
but after I ended up in a domestic violence shelter, I filed for myself under VAWA.
Okay.
My question is, because I'm not hearing any updates on VAWA, is there anything updated with VAWA right now?
What do you mean updated? It's the same VAWA laws.
I hear about DACA, I can hear about TPS, I hear about everything else, but nobody talks about VAWA applicants.
Because VAWA, you filed a VAWA case, VAWA exists. So what you're
Yeah.
hearing in the news is that, so as a VAWA, as somebody who is the victim of a crime, you're eligible for a green card. There's no law to change on that. DACA recipients are not eligible for green cards. TPS are not eligible for green cards. Those are the laws that people want to change. Now, the problem with VAWA is the problem with U visas, is the problem with adjustments of status, is the problems with I-751s, is the problem with every case that is being filed with immigration this year, which is immigration's not doing their job. They're just piling up applications and nothing's happening. So it has nothing to do with law changes. It has to do with we got to get resources to immigration so they can do their job. That's hopefully going to be an issue that gets resolved when they change the immigration laws.
I'm hoping. My prime official expires next month.
Yeah. All right, hang in there. It's a 2-year process.
Thank you.
Right now. Okay. Nadir in Schaumburg, Illinois. Nadir.
Hi, sir.
Hi, how are you?
How are you doing? Good. I'm good. Thank you.
What's going on?
Yes, sir. I came here in 2015 with a DV lottery. And then in 2018, I was arrested by police and charged with misdemeanor. And then...
what was the misdemeanor?
It's a fight.
Okay. An assault. And what were you found guilty of?
It's still pending.
Okay.
It's still, at
You
the
came
court.
on DV lottery and
Yes, sir.
you came on DV lottery and you got an assault 3 years later.
Yes, I came with the DV, and I have a green card, 10 years green card, and I'm married here.
Right.
Yes. So my question is, can I apply for a citizenship because I already have 5 years?
No, because you have a pending criminal case right now. So when you have a pending criminal case, you can't show good moral character until it's resolved.
So I need to wait?
You need to wait and resolve your criminal case, hopefully in a way that doesn't affect your immigration.
And then?
And then hopefully you can show good moral character and file your citizenship. But no one's going to make you a citizen when you have a pending assault case.
Okay, so after, can I call you back and so you can help me out with that?
I can't be your criminal defense lawyer in Chicago, but I can help you with immigration. Hold on. Let's go to Priyap in India. All the way from India. Priyap, how are you? Hello?
Hello, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, hi.
What time is it in
Yeah,
India?
I'm good.
What time is it?
Yeah, I'm calling from India.
What time
and
is
good
it?
morning.
It's in the morning?
Yeah, it's a 4:30.
Oh,
4:30
wow.
early morning.
Good morning. You need some more sleep at 4:30.
Good morning.
But good morning anyway.
Yeah,
What's going on?
Yeah. We were in Phoenix 2017 to 2019, me and my wife and my daughter, and and she's a L1 visa, I'm a dependent visa. 2019 we got denied our extension, visa extension. We got denied the L1 extension visa.
You got denied the L1 extension.
Yeah,
was
yeah,
it your
you're
own
right.
business?
Yes, you're right.
Was it your own business, or you're working, or your wife was
No,
working for someone else?
Working in IT.
Okay, so why did you get denied? Why did it get denied after she came?
So that time I was in India, so she didn't ask any question to the USCIS. She came back to US within 7 days.
I didn't understand. You had an L visa, and then it got denied.
And
your wife came back to India to pick up a new visa?
Yeah.
And she got denied at the embassy?
Yes, you're right.
What was the reason that they denied her at the embassy? What was the reason they gave her for denying her at the embassy?
They didn't give any perfect reason. They gave some electrical problem, some electrical document problem. You can apply for re-appeal also. They mentioned
Okay,
like that,
I don't
like
know.
that only.
All right. So that's not. There was a reason why your wife got denied. We don't know the reason. And,
we don't know the reason.
And your question is what? What should you do?
Yeah, my question is this possible to re-appeal because the L1 visa maximum period is 5 years, but we completed 3 years only.
Well, yeah, as long as you still can prove, you can reapply again. But what you don't want to do is reapply and not figure out why you got denied the first time and walk in and get denied a second time for the same exact reason. But you can always reapply for an L visa as long as you can qualify for it, which is you work outside of the United States for one out of the last 3 years for a company that is substantially owned by the foreign company, is substantially owned in the United States at least 50% by the same owners. So as long as you have 1 out of 3 in India for the same company or similarly owned company in the United States, yeah, you can reapply again. My concern is, why'd she get denied? We have no idea. We should figure that one out first.
Awesome. Yes.
All right, hold on 1 second. Adam in St. Louis.
Hi, Brad. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I was calling because I had filed an I-130 back in February of 2020, the middle of the month, and I haven't heard anything back on that case, but I called and they said that it was transferred to the local field office in
Who are you
April.
filing for? Are you a U.S. citizen?
A spouse, yes,
Okay.
U.S. citizen.
And where is your spouse?
Here in the United States.
Okay. And you only filed an I-130 and that's it?
Yes, because they're not legally here presently.
What status are they in? How did they come to America?
Crossing the border.
Okay. So you need to get the I-130 done and then a provisional waiver.
Yes, but the thing is, I keep checking the status, and it's almost been a year, but there hasn't been any updates, and I don't know if that's normal.
Well, it's in this time it's normal. In past times it's not. So right now it's taking 14, 15 months to get an approval. But what you may want to do after 1 year is threaten what's called a mandamus to bring legal action against the government for violating your rights and trying to get a visa petition that's immediately approvable, taking over a year.
Okay, and then after they do approve it, what happens?
Then it's going to go to the National Visa Center. Then she has to do what's called the provisional waiver to go home and come back. And that takes another year. So, I mean, we're looking at a while. Now, a lot's going to happen over the next 3 months. So everything I'm telling you right now may be completely different in 3 months from now.
Okay.
All right. They may bring
All
back
right.
245I, which is pay a penalty fee if you came in without inspection and adjust your status here. Who knows?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I was just curious because I haven't heard anything.
Right. Yeah, it's normal. I would save at this point because Joe Biden is putting in immigration legislation tomorrow. I wouldn't be filing mandamuses to try to do a provisional waiver to go home and come back. I would be saving my bullets and seeing what happens with Biden over the next 60 days before you decide to do anything.
Okay. All right. Thank you very
hang
much.
in there and watch. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Chris in Lewiston, Maine. Chris.
Hey, Mr. Brad.
How are you?
I'm good. You?
Great.
Yeah. Thank you for answering all our questions. It's very nice of you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
I have only one question regarding of what you have talked about during smoothing in regards of President Biden's new immigration plan. You've mentioned about DACA, TPS, and other groups of immigrants, but you did not mention about pending asylum seekers. Are they included also in the bill or not?
Well, I don't know. But I would assume if they can show that they were physically here on January 1st, 2021, that they would be included. A lot's unknown. I know as much as everybody else that what you read in the newspaper and what's being reported. I haven't read any significant, I haven't read the legislation.
Okay.
So, but presumably, yes, you would be included. I don't think they would leave you out.
Thank you very
All
much.
right, you're very welcome.
Bye.
All right. By the way, if you, where are we at? Yes, by the way, if you didn't get your immigration questions asked and answered on the show, you could always follow me on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram at @RealBradBernstein, you can drop me a DM. I'll try to answer your immigration question as best as I can, or I'll tell you, we need to talk, one or the other. And you could ask anybody in the squad. I say this every day. I do answer everybody's question. I am actually doing it. So you could always follow me on @RealBradBernstein. Drop me a question. I'll try to help you. Sometimes it takes me a day or two to get back to you. Don't fret. I just can't be everywhere to everybody at every second. But I will answer your question eventually. You can just follow me at @RealBradBernstein. If you can't handle 2 hours of Brad Show Live, but you can handle 2 minutes of Brad Show Live, we show our best 2-3 minutes on Brad Show Live on Instagram, or at least we try to every day. Maybe it's not our best, but we try to put our best at Brad Show Live on Instagram and watch it. And it's a great. You can also follow us on Twitter at Brad Show Live as well. And of course, we're always live every day, Monday through Friday here, sometime between 5:30 and 6 o'clock. And Yo-Yo and Vanessa.
Yeah, you guys can follow me at Jonathan Elias TV on Instagram.
And you guys can find me at Vanessa.ContrerasTV.
And later in the show, we're going to look back at my interview with Jordan Dradell Roberts and Julie Briskman, two strangers who met after their lives were disrupted by standing up against the Trump administration and standing for what they believe in.
But first, before we go into social media check-in, and today's Spar and Bernstein close-up partner and immigration attorney Shannon Laguerre-Mangret explains what the I-944 form is.
So this is a new form that came out. It's 18 pages long, very, very detailed. You have to submit documents to basically show that you're able to take care of yourself. So for example, if you are applying for a green card, primarily that's what this is being used for, you need to be able to demonstrate that you are basically self-sufficient, or that you have family that can take care of you, but that you're not going to be primarily dependent on public benefits. So there are a lot of questions that are asked. The I-864 does determine whether or not the person who is the petitioner, the person sponsoring you, have the assets, have the financial resource to be able to support you. But now basically they're looking to see, are you the actual applicant, the person requesting the green card? Are you basically, is there a likelihood that you're going to become dependent on public benefits? So they ask you questions, for example, about your credit report. And so keep in mind, there are a lot of people who are here in this country who don't have a credit report. So they're requiring that you show that either, number one, don't have a credit score or don't have a credit report. And if you do, that you need to basically submit that. And a lot of times they're asking you about your educational background because they want to see in the future, will you be able to work? So if you have an education, even if it's from another country, they want you to be able to demonstrate, this is the education that I have. These are certificates. So we've been asking a lot of our clients, submit certificates from what you did back in your country. And if you've done anything here, certainly that can make you employable, make sure you submit that also. They're also asking questions about whether or not you speak English and evidence of that. So some lawyers are basically submitting affidavits where you're indicating as the applicant that I can speak English and I basically swear and attest to that. I've done it basically where I've had people who come from English-speaking countries demonstrate, like with their educational background, that they completed school in their country and that they speak English. But these are some of the things that are being taken into consideration because they're weighing, and that's really what's important here with the I-944 and the new public charge rule, is they're weighing what is the likelihood of you being able to be self-sufficient, right? What is the likelihood that you'll be able to support yourself without being primarily dependent on government benefits?
All right, let's do something we like to call social media check-in. Yo-Yo and Vanessa, let's check in.
Yes. All right. First one comes from Sandra Campbell on YouTube saying, my husband's been working on and off due to COVID. However, he's still filing unemployment. He's petitioning for me. Will my case interview be affected for AOS? He has all his pay stubs, etc.
Yes. Well, it's an effect in the sense that he's collecting unemployment, but as long as his unemployment puts you 125% above the poverty level and you're okay on the I-944, you should be okay. You may need a second affidavit of support, though.
Abby B on YouTube, does pending asylum applicants are eligible to apply for up-and-coming amnesty?
We don't know what the amnesty is going to be, but perhaps, probably.
Okay, Abdul Latif on YouTube, out of status before January 1st, 2021. Will I be eligible for the Biden amnesty program?
As it's written right now, yes. But again, please rewind to the beginning. Whatever Biden is submitting is not going to be the law. Let's hope it's somewhat near it.
Fatini Park on YouTube, when petition withdrawal of I-130 for petitioner, should USCIS write the reason for the withdrawal?
You write no. It just they say petitioner withdrew, period. It's a form letter.
Okay, Lincoln A on YouTube, public charge. Will it go away with the Biden in the first 100 days?
No, it won't.
29 Super C on YouTube, when do you anticipate that the new president will rescind the temporary immigration ban for persons outside of the U.S. awaiting immigration visas or non-immigrant work visas, e.g. H-1B, J-1, or L-1 visa?
Well, very interesting because Trump rescinded the travel ban yesterday, and Biden said he's going to put it back in. And so Trump rescinded it as of January 26th. Biden is going to reinstate it. And the reason he's reinstating it is because there's this new, much more viral strand of COVID that seems to be a lot more contagious. So your answer would be when Dr. Fauci says it's safe to walk around. That's when it will be rescinded. So it's a Dr. Fauci situation.
Okay,
and as Jilly once told me, I'm not Dr. Fauci. I don't know the answer to that.
All right, Uzair Pisada on YouTube. My sister's asylum derivative still pending. She came here for her 16th, before her 16th birthday. She graduated here. Can she also apply for DACA?
If she came here before June 15th, 2007, did she come before June 15th, 2007?
We don't know, but I mean, it says she came here before.
You had to be under 16 by June 15th, 2007.
2007?
Yes.
Oh yeah, then no, because I doubt it.
Okay.
KJ on YouTube. I am an Indian studying in Canada. I have an H4 from my dad's H1B. I'm 20 years old. My dad is current and filing his I-485. Should I file an I-485 or H4 or consular processing?
File the adjustment. You would be included if you're here.
Okay, SV Glam Up on YouTube. I applied for the I-130 in August 2020, U.S. citizen spouse. I have an order of removal in absentia.
Correct.
Excuse me?
That is correct.
Okay, can I apply for DACA now? I've been in the U.S. since 2004 when I was 14 years old.
Perhaps. I gotta, if you graduated high school and you are under 31 when you apply.
Okay, this one in reference to as far as we know, but Matthew Adams on YouTube asked, how will a conditional resident benefit from Biden's amnesty?
You won't benefit. You already have a green card.
Okay, Camille Grab on YouTube. Does a person admitted into the USA on the F1 with the I-94 DS who dropped out of school and has an unlawful presence inadmissible now with a 3 to 10 year ban?
Yeah, you have a 3 to 10 year ban now.
Audrago Check Omar on YouTube. What can I do to get my EAD fast? I applied for VAWA along with I-485 and EAD.
Write a letter for showing humanitarian reasons why it needs to be expedited.
Okay, Everblessed Andrea on YouTube. My husband filed an I-130 for me in the U.S. and my 2 kids in Jamaica, and I'm waiting to become a citizen to file my adjustment of status. Can my kids be here before I get my legal status?
Who's filing for her adjustment?
Her husband.
Yeah, the husband can file separately for your children if they get green cards before. Wonderful.
BJ Harris on YouTube. I am a man living in Michigan in love with a man living in Nigeria. We want to get married and bring him here. It's been 3.5 years, but we haven't met in person. Is a fiance visa the best idea? Also, does your firm take out-of-state cases?
Yes, my firm takes out-of-state cases. No, a fiance visa is not a good idea because you can't get a fiance visa approved unless you prove you've met the man. So I think a good idea would be to go to Nigeria and meet him.
Okay. Guamana Beris on YouTube. A friend came to the U.S. in 2017 under the family's reunification with a parole for 2 years. The time she is waiting for her priority date to apply for adjustment of status. Can she still apply for adjustment of status?
Yes, of course. So family reunification was under the old amnesty. So as long as you are in legal status, you would be eligible to adjust, assuming your priority date is current.
No matter what, just be you on Facebook. My friend interviewed 6 months ago, but she got no answer yet. What should she do? Also, if her husband files for her kids ages 3 and 11, do they go to an interview? The kids live in Jamaica.
All you can do at this point is follow up and see what happens. You can't do anything until at least a year, but other than follow up and call and write letters.
Alicia Pendergrast on Facebook. Will people under medical deferred action be eligible for Biden's amnesty plan?
Oh. Magic 8 Ball. I've never read the law. Nobody has. We don't even know what's going to pass. I've said it's going to change 100,000 times between now and 60 days from now. But this woman wants to know a very specific question about amnesty that hasn't even been debated yet. Will she qualify for it based on what was her issue?
People under medical deferred action.
People under medical deferred action. Magic 8 Ball says we cannot predict right now. It's exactly what it says. It's always right, Magic 8 Ball. Nobody can predict what this law is going to be, but perhaps, yes. Depends on how they write it, you know, what they mean by out of status. I don't know.
Milo Slavminkov on YouTube. Can you advise how the new immigration form may or may not affect the VAWA petitioner?
I don't think it's going to affect at all. It has nothing to do with the new Biden is not changing VAWA laws.
Okay, Lido Ibrahim on YouTube. AOS made May 11th, 2020. I received the notice of approval December 18th, 2020. How long will it take to get an interview?
Could be a while. They're very, very backed up. All right, 2 more.
Empress Marie on YouTube. If a petition is canceled for whatever reason and they decide to go apply for a visa, does the petition decision affect them getting a visa?
Absolutely.
Okay, and last one, Ali Raza on YouTube. I filed for a VAWA and got the combo card. Is it safe to travel on advanced parole? I didn't get any letter from USCIS for biometrics.
Yes, you can travel on the advanced parole. Now, we had said earlier on the show that heroes don't always wear capes, or I was thinking about it. I don't know if I said it, but I was definitely thinking about it. And you know that interview, by the way, I'm reading the wrong thing. Let me try that again. It's one of those days. On the last full day of Donald Trump's tenure in the White House, we thought it would be nice to remember that throughout 4 years of Trump's anti-immigrant administration, there were many people who fought against his policies. Jordan Dreydell Roberts and Julie Briskman were 2 strangers who were both affected by standing up to the administration and came together to help one another. Let's watch it out. Today is Jordan Dreydell Roberts. He was working as a secretary in the Labor Department in Montana, and they were asked to flag people that they came across in the Labor Department who were working illegally and forward that information to ICE to pick them up in Montana. When Jordan was made aware that he was the person who had to flag the immigrants who are working out of status and notify immigration to have them arrested, he went and protested and ultimately quit his job. We have him on now. Jordan Dreydell Roberts, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
Good, good, good. So tell us a little bit about your family's immigration history.
I have relatives who came over on the Mayflower, and I've got some more, like, slightly more recent Italian immigrant family.
How did that hit you personally?
When I was just told, oh, keep an eye out for these ICE subpoenas. And it took me a while to realize what that meant, because I couldn't figure out initially why ICE would be in Montana.
What were the ICE subpoenas? In other words, you were working for the state labor department?
Yeah, state labor department as a legal secretary for the legal services division. So they represent the department in whatever legal matters, wage disputes, whatever side the department took.
And also, if somebody was doing a job sponsorship, they would have to get a prevailing wage for that job?
Exactly.
Right. So every time somebody was doing a job sponsorship, the state labor department would get involved.
In just general wage disputes, like we've had to handle things like somebody not getting their last paycheck because their boss was an unpleasant person.
Right. So anybody who would bring a claim to ask the labor department to assist them because the labor department's there to assist the U.S. worker, and then if you were found that you were assisting a worker who is undocumented, the state labor department, this is the state of Montana, said, go call ICE.
The department has a lot of information from all these cases and stuff, and this was ICE asking for parts of that information. So what I thought was going to happen, because I had tapped out before this most recent round of subpoenas came across my desk, was that they would be comparing whatever information we gave them to something they had and be like, oh, this person is, undocumented, let's go pick them up. And my job as legal secretary was going to be, I would take that subpoena, pass it on to the attorney, they'd contact whatever division they were asking for information from, and then they would direct that information to me. And my job would have been to, package it nicely.
All the information that you have about this person at the state labor department, their name, their date of birth, their address, where they're working, make it as easy as possible for immigration and customs enforcement to go knock on this guy's door or lady's door or at their place of employment and go pick them up and deport them, basically.
I would have done the cover letter, signed my name, like, here you go, ICE.
Right. They were basically asking you at the state labor department to be a snitch for ICE. Your job was not legal secretary. They said your job is now snitch.
When you give information to the Department of Labor, you assume it's going to be used for labor-related issues. We might share it with like the Federal Department of Labor.
Right.
But there's no assumption that it's going to be used for immigration.
Right. ICE is relying on you to go tell them who's undocumented. The legal secretary at the State Department of Montana. God knows how many people maybe they picked up who may have been legal. Because I've seen that happen many times. And when you did find out that you were doing all of this, what did you do?
So it was Tuesday afternoon, attorney stops by my desk, I'm in the middle of something else, says, keep an eye out for some ICE subpoenas tomorrow. I hear subpoenas tomorrow and just sort of continue about my day, and then it wasn't until later that it sort of clicked in my brain that ICE, immigration, okay, wait a second. So the next morning, I go in, I give my wife a real quick phone call, and I say, I might be asked to process these subpoenas for ICE. I don't think I can do that. I was expecting there to be a bit of a conversation, but without a moment's hesitation, she just said, okay, and that was it.
Have you ever done any social activism before?
I mean, I've attended a couple marches. I've called senators for stuff, but never something on this level. At most, I thought I might be able to convince some people in the department to sort of reassess what we were doing.
So now people are calling you a hero. What do you think about being called a hero?
I hadn't really anticipated it taking off like this. And I have some issue with the word hero, just because I think when people look for a hero, they're looking for someone to save them. And I just did sort of what I thought you were supposed to do.
Now, you worked there for 10 years. You gave up a very good government job that you would have been there for the rest of your life. You said your wife said okay. She supported you. You have children as well. What did you say to your daughter? How did she react?
So that was an interesting conversation to have with a toddler.
How old is your daughter, by the way?
Gonna be 4. So we're in the car driving back home, and I'm trying to explain, all right, kiddos, so things are gonna be a little different. It's gonna be a little more difficult. We're gonna have to make some tough choices. Dada had to make a hard choice. I was asked, why? So I asked, I couldn't help break up families, and give it to a toddler's understanding of how the world works. Why would anybody want to break up families?
Right.
That's sad.
Exactly.
And that leveled me. I have the support of my kid. My kid is behind me 100% right now. All right. And then this was before I realized that a lot more people were behind me. And well, the thing was, I couldn't have expected this to take off the way it did, because
after you quit, you put out a tweet, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So the reaction on Twitter, I assume, and on social media and strangers has been both positive and negative. How has that reaction been to you?
Overwhelmingly positive. I mean, I've got a few trolls, but like they are fewer in number and far less articulate than the people who've been supporting me and telling me. Yeah. Even in Montana, you have people who like, I don't support your idea, but the fact that you stood by it enough to quit your job, okay. I was a public servant. I was serving the public. Granted, that time it required me to not do the job I had been given, but I mean, I was serving the public to the best of my ability. It didn't quite work out the way I had wanted it.
Now, what are you doing lately? How are you supporting yourself now?
I've received a lot of support. There was a GoFundMe. People donated stuff to PayPal. I've been humbled by the level of support I've gotten. It's given me a chance to, instead of right now scrambling to find the next job that will give me a paycheck, I am now looking for a way that I can do the most good.
Now, interestingly enough, is on our show, around the same time that you had quit your job at the State Labor Department in Montana, there was a woman who was also an internet sensation. She was riding her bicycle, and there she is giving, this is the Trump motorcade. We're not sure which car Donald Trump is in, but there she is on her bicycle. Her name is Julie Briskman, and she gave Trump the finger. And she also became somewhat of a internet sensation. This is Julie Briskman. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Brad. Thanks for having me.
And thanks for coming on. And why this all comes together, because people are saying, well, how did this all come together? Is because Julie, when she found out what Jordan did, was, besides being the one who flipped off Trump, she is the one who started the GoFundMe campaign for Jordan. You started the GoFundMe campaign without ever speaking to Jordan, I understand?
I did. Yep. I started the GoFundMe before we actually spoke. And I just want to address, I know that Jordan's being really humble about being called a hero, but Brad, I think you nailed it on the head when you said he's a hero because he had no stake in the game. He did the right thing anyway, without knowing what was going to happen, without any safety net underneath him. And when I saw that he did that, I thought this guy is a hero and he needs our support.
So after you started the GoFundMe campaign, you were able to get it off the ground because you were a bit of an internet sensation too with the photo with the finger. How much money did you think you were going to raise, and how much money did you raise for Jordan?
I put a goal up there of raising $50,000 for Jordan and his family, and right now we're almost at $40,000, I'm excited to say, so we're just about to our goal.
You're a private citizen. You're not also a politician, I believe, or anything. You're a bicyclist. And Donald Trump just happens to be driving by you. Did you know he was going to be driving by you? Did you give any thought to giving him the finger ahead of time? And who actually took this photo of you?
The photograph was taken by an AFP pool reporter. It was not premeditated. It was just a gut reaction. And I think that's a big difference between Jordan and I, and one of the reasons this resonated with me so much. I mean, I was thrust into this because I gave my opinion, the only way I knew how, to this guy going by in the motorcade. In my heart, I can't do this anymore, and I know this is going to, affect my ability to pay my mortgage. It's going to affect my ability to save for my kids' college, but I'm going to do the right thing anyway.
You didn't expect anyone to take a photograph of it. You didn't expect it to do anything to your life whatsoever. You were not expecting anybody, the pool reporter, to take the photograph. You weren't expecting this to go viral. Now, ultimately, when this did, it did affect your life because you lost your job working at a company, and they fired you as a result of this photograph. Is that correct?
That's correct. My photograph went viral before I really even identified myself. I went to my company and told them that it was me, and they basically said, well, you're allowed to ride your bike, and if media is calling, don't talk to them on company time. And I said, okay, great. I still haven't really decided if I'm going to identify myself. The next day, almost exactly 24 hours later, they fired me.
And what was the reason that they said they fired you?
They said they fired me because I violated their social media policy.
Even though you had nothing to do with it?
Yes.
It wasn't your tweet. How did you react to that when you got fired? What was
I was shocked.
You were shocked.
I had kind of gone to them for advice. I had put the photograph on couple of my social medias, but I never identified myself as working for that company. And the reaction I got when I initially told them about it was not, oh, go take it off right now. Go get rid of it. It was, oh, well, just don't talk to the media on company time. So the next day when I was fired, I was completely shocked. I was floored. I was driving home thinking, how much money do I have in my savings account? How am I going to pay my mortgage? How am I going to, I've got 2 kids myself. And so it was shocking and very upsetting.
Now, this just happened recently. So what have you been doing since?
Fortunately, also for me, once folks heard that Acoma did not fire another person without seeing social media content, and they did fire me, there was a GoFundMe for me as well. So just like Jordan, I've had some breathing room to figure out what I'm going to do. I picked up some project work. I launched my website, and I'm exploring job opportunities, and I am exploring legal options as well.
So for Jordan, this is almost in a way a pay it forward to you, or is it just more of this is a guy who had no stake in the game, just like you, kind of, in a way. You didn't look to make this public or publicity. It just kind of hit you more than you tried to do it. And you kind of just said, this is a guy who deserves some help as well.
It was absolutely a pay it forward situation. I have felt so overwhelmed and humbled and grateful for what folks have done for me.
You have 2 teenagers. What was their reaction to all of this?
When it kind of started to go viral, the kids were getting a little bit nervous, but locally overwhelming, people were supportive about it, and the kids started to hear about it in the school, and so they were fine with it. They were very afraid when I got fired, and I did tell them a couple of days later. I was waiting for after my daughter's birthday. But when I told them about the unequal treatment, they were fired up.
How'd you guys end up talking, and have you ever met?
We had never met. I saw him on Twitter. I kind of trolled his Facebook a little bit. I sent him a couple messages and didn't get a response. So I'm a former daily newspaper reporter. So I thought, all right, you know what? I'm going to get a hold of this guy no matter what. Then I found his mother-in-law, just doing some research. I connected the last names, and I called up and I'm like, do you by chance know Jordan Deardahl Roberts? And she's like, yes, that's my son-in-law. And we had a lovely conversation, and she told me how supportive they were of him and how much trouble a country can get into if people just follow orders.
I'd like to end this and just ask each of you what your American dreams are.
Well, before all this, I had a dream. I wanted to write fiction. I wanted to publish a novel. That dream has shifted slightly. Now I'm hoping that I can be an overall force for good in this country.
It's wonderful. And you, Julie?
You know, I think my dream at this point, I want to leave this as a better place for my kids. In any way that I can do that, I'm energized, and I'm energized by what they're doing. And with a 13 and 15-year-old, I look at them every day and think, we have to stand up, we have to speak out, and that's my dream, is to use my platform to speak out.
Well, you both are amazing. You took stands. You say what's going on in America is wrong. I agree with you. I wish you both the best of luck. Julie Briskman, Jordan, Deardahl, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
You know, that interview on the show was the first time they ever met face to face, and Julie went on to run for office, was elected supervisor of the Algonquin district of Loudoun County, Virginia. Yo-Yo and Vanessa, we have 9 immigration questions left for the show. But we only have 50 seconds left. Can we answer these 9 questions in 50 seconds? What do you think?
I think we could do this.
You think we could do it?
I do.
Because we only have 50 seconds to do it.
We just have to get through it.
I asked Julian, I said, can you give me more time? He says, no, I love blowing you up. So thank you.
I still need 1 millisecond.
Nice,
my window's all closed. So Yo-Yo, just take it away, because this is not functioning on me right now.
All right, so it's just me and Yo-Yo. Vanessa, bowing out. Just Yo-Yo and Brad. Okay.
Yes.
You ready?
All right. Ready?
Let's go.
I-485 pending. Can I get promoted?
Sure.
Can a U.S. resident file for a stepsister?
Yes.
Will there be a work visa ban after Trump leaves?
There is through March 30th.
Can overstays apply for a green card?
If you marry a citizen.
Can fingerprints taken for EAD be used for biometrics?
Yep.
Will the wrong name on G1145 affect my case?
No, you could always fix it.
Can I marry while waiting for I-725 interview?
I-725, I-751, no.
Do receipt notices have the priority date on them?
Yes.
Do 601 waivers get approved for overstay?
For overstay, yes. Provisional waivers, of course.
Come on! See? We could have did another one.
Could have done 10.
Look at that.
Could have done 11.
Could have done
12.
10 questions.
New dance. It's called the karate chop. It's called the karate chop.
Karate chop. Hey. I don't know what I'm doing. I was trying to do whatever you was doing.
Follow the leader.
I felt
Anyways,
for a second I thought I would turn
let's
into
get
Donald Trump, you know, when he's doing that stupid dance.
Oh, God.
I'm like, nope, stop. Yeah, exactly. All right. Comments of the day, guys. Comments of the day.
All right, y'all. Our first comment up of the day comes from Ja Love saying, this time tomorrow we're going to have a new president.
Yes. Yes, Ja Love. Yes.
Yes.
We
We'll
are.
be right in with a new president, right? Stop. God, I'm doggy sitting, guys. So annoying.
Oh.
Why don't you let me bring the dog onto the show? Let's see.
Come here, Max.
Come on, Max.
Max, come here. Come here. Come here.
I don't know why you didn't have Max for Fuzzy Mondays.
He just got here today.
There's Max.
Hey there, Max. Welcome to the show, Max.
Max looks like Shelley Winters a little bit. You know who Shelley Winters is?
Like Shelley Winters too.
You know who Shelley Winters is? Old comedian with like this big hair.
Oh yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah,
what you're talking about.
Max looks a little like Shelley Winters. Okay, Vanessa.
Our next comment of the day comes from Paulette Bryce Cameron saying, squad up family, yes, it's that time again. Brad is here to answer your immigration questions, Get your popcorn. Oh, yes. Are you ready?
All right.
Ooh,
That's
I'm
right.
ready.
Popcorn.
Yes.
Why don't I have popcorn?
That sounds good.
That's very good with a little butter on it.
Butter
Next
popcorn.
show.
Melted butter.
Oh no, salted caramel popcorn too.
That's really good too.
So good.
And when
Okay.
and when you throw, and then if you get the box of M&Ms and throw them in there, and then you get
Throw
a good
'em in there.
and then you get a good movie going.
I've never been into salty and sweet. I can't get into it.
Oh, that's
I can't get
great.
into it.
That's the best. You get a box of M&Ms, you get the popcorn, you dump it in. Let's get the movie rolling.
I know. My boyfriend does that.
Yeah.
Not my thing.
All right.
Okay.
All right, we have
love that
another
dog.
one.
That's a great dog. Very cute. I love it.
Right. Kwaku Amensa saying, Brad, we can tell you really enjoy what you do, and we love you for that. God bless you.
Thank you
This
very
is
much. That's true.
This is true.
That is true.
And to wrap up our show today, our last comment of the day comes from one of our VIPs, Stargirl Mika, saying, it was a feeling of joy just seeing President Biden arrive in Washington today. That is true.
It was. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. We're going to be off for a few days, unfortunately, sadly. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's Uncle Brad's moving. So I got to move. I got to pack and move. So sadly, I won't
need help?
Maybe. You know, good friends always
He'll
come to
take
help.
you up on it.
Good friends, don't
Holla at your
don't
boy.
ask if you're not willing to carry a couch. If
That
you're
guy-
not willing to carry a couch, don't ask.
Oh, you meant like that? I thought
I'm
you just
literally
needed to,
moving.
like say, hey, you take that there, you take that there,
No.
and have a nice cocktail.
I need some guys to like.
My back.
Right.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Taking it back already. Yeah. So I'm moving, but we'll be back on Monday. And on Monday we're going to know a lot more about Biden's immigration. Don't worry about what you read and what people say. It's going to change. We'll see how it comes as it comes, and we'll see what's going on. Just listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. We'll see you next week. Happy week, guys, and happy Joe Biden. Welcome, Joe Biden. We'll see you Monday. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK. 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?